And the intense line of thunderstorms we talked about just a few minutes ago in the 4 o'clock news now moving through southern Kentucky and starting to spin up a possible tornado out there in that region. Let's check our live pinpoint Doppler radar and get you up to date on exactly what's going on with this tornado warning that covers parts of 3 counties, it looks like. You got Wayne, Pulaski, and McCreary all under the gun for the potential of a tornado out there in southern Kentucky. And, of course, severe thunderstorm warnings that are issued as well. Let's get to the information here first of all. You're going to see it rolling at the top of your screen. So what I'll do is I'll also go in and show you some of the communities being directly affected. It's coming out of this cell right here that you're looking at on your screen. A little kink, a little bend, a little rotation starting to show up. It's all right there embedded within our severe thunderstorm, possibly producing a tornado out in southern Kentucky. Now, some of the communities affected right now, you can already see Burnside right underneath the tornado warning, just south of Somerset, but it's still out there and it's still going to be packing quite a punch over the next little bit here. And it's going to be rolling right over Burnside, Ferguson, Alpine. Those are just some of the places that come to mind here right away. Let me peel off the data so you can see what's going on more specifically. And so you can see the communities that will be affected too. So there you see the rotation right there, that little cylinder, that's indicating where the rotation is at. And I'll just plot the information from it real quick so you can kind of see the storm track because it's handling it pretty good. Looking at Betsy, the Pulaski County Park, Kidder, Bronston, just to the south of Somerset, to all of these locations with this tornado warning that runs out until 5:15, talking about maybe right around 100,000 people possibly affected within the path of that. So tornado warning, you can see the information right there for McCreary, Pulaski, and Wayne counties until 5:15, and numerous severe thunderstorm warnings also in effect here for the next little bit too, all running out until 5:15 as well. But what we'll do is, let me get rid of some of the severe thunderstorm warnings just for the moment, then we'll come back to those here in just a second, and we'll go in closer to where the storm is at and where that little rotation note or that little indicator is at. So here what you're looking at, you got Steubenville, Toursville, Fraser, all under the gun with the tornado warning there in Wayne County. Then we go up the road into Norfleet, Bawbush, you've got Trimble, Ferguson, Burnside, Tateville, Sloan's Valley, Meese, again over there in Pulaski County, Keno. It's tough to say where that's specifically at. I'll go a little closer. So that's over in Pulaski. It's kind of close there on the border. So Keno, you got Nevillesville. All of these locations under the gun, possible tornado. Again, giving you kind of the general information on this storm. It was not spotted by a trained spotter on the ground. What happened here, folks, was there was indication on radar that there was some circulation, rotation, that suggested there could be a tornado embedded within this thunderstorm, and that's what you've got. So the rotation factor comes into play, and it's going to be right through here where that cell's at, and it's moving off toward the east at around 45 miles per hour. So it's going to be clipping through there here at a decent little rate of speed as it moves across several southern Kentucky counties here, also producing the possibility of just plain old severe weather with strong winds, large hail, all of those things accompanying this line of thunderstorms that has developed here within the last several hours. It's been around, the actual batch of rain itself has been around for several hours, since early this morning, as a matter of fact, out in Kansas, and now getting all the way into southern Kentucky here. So strong rotation within this storm, sparking the tornado warning here that we now have before us here for several southern Kentucky counties. Here in eastern Kentucky, southern Kentucky, it will continue to move off toward the east, due east, as a matter of fact, at around 45 miles per hour. It's just been the general nature of these storms all day as they move from one end of the Commonwealth to the other. Let me give you a more specific storm track so you can kind of see the information here as we go out. I'll take us out over the next 30 minutes, and there you see it, 30 minutes, and you're looking at some of the communities there, and gives you more of a specific time frame where that particular bulge in the cell is at, a bulge in the line. Those communities, Honeybee, Huxley, all of you included in on that. Now, the actual warning goes out until 5:15 for the possibility of a tornado. So that goes out for a little while longer. So you're looking at, it's right now 4:57. So roughly 15 minutes or so, give or take a few minutes specifically on where you're at. So tornado warning out for all of those locations. So a big chunk of real estate covered up. And it's a highly populated area, especially the parts in Pulaski County could be affected by the storm. So we're going to have to really pay close attention to this. And if you know anybody that's out heading, taking the kids to the ball field here this evening, whatever the case may be, got all kinds of plans, I'm sure, as it's been a pretty warm day here in southern and eastern Kentucky. You need to get them on their cell phone and say, hey, you need to take shelter right now. Don't wait. There's a possible tornado in the area, and even if there isn't a tornado that even falls out of this storm, we're still talking about a pretty intense cell producing winds probably in excess of about 60 miles per hour, and the potential for some large hail also embedded within our thunderstorm. So you got numerous things that kind of come together here and can mean all kinds of troublesome things for the folks there in southern Kentucky. Still seeing that there could be the rotation right there, everything matching up here, that little green spot showing that that's where the rotation could be at, the cylinder matching up with that perfectly. So we could be dealing with a pretty significant little thunderstorm out there in southern Kentucky. We'll watch that. We'll watch this, the actual line itself, as it moves on through northeastern Wayne County on over into McCreary County. That's the general path that's going to be taken here over the next little bit. We also have, as usual, we've got the tornadic tips to show you here, and I've got those stored on my other computer, guys. So if you all can just pull up our tornadic tips so we can kind of pass them along to the folks. This is for, I'll tell you the truth, this is really for any severe weather situation. If you know the storm's going to get rough, you may want to get to and start doing one of these things you see here, or all of them, just depending on where you're at. You want to go to a basement, lowest point of your home. And the reason we say that is you take yourself kind of out of the direct blow of the winds, the direct shot of it as it starts to move from one location to the other. You kind of put yourself beneath that. And if you don't have a basement, the best place to be interior hallway or room, because what you do there is put more walls in between you and the outside world, and that kind of adds a little extra layer. The more walls, the better, because you start to kind of stack up a fort. So you want to fortify yourself there, and that's what you do by getting in the middle of the house, in the center of something, maybe the hallway, bathroom in the middle of the hallway, somewhere in the center of your home. And of course, obviously, stay away from windows, because we all know, again, how easily those are broken and can be damaged. So you kind of get a leg up right there by getting away from any windows. And with this particular cell, debris could be flying, shattering windows, coming into your home. So we have to pay very close attention to all of those characteristics there by themselves. So again, you want to stay away from windows, and mobile homes can be dangerous, and research has shown they can be picked up and they can be thrown around. So keep that in mind as well. All right, back to the live pinpoint Doppler radar, where we're still tracking that very intense thunderstorm there in southern Kentucky, where you're looking at it right there in Wayne County, moving out of Wayne, getting ready to cross the border into Pulaski County and southern Pulaski County too. And getting, by that time, it should start to cross US 27. So there's Burnside. And here, what road we're looking at? We're looking at 90 right there. And it's kind of just taking 90 and going into Pulaski County. And then, of course, there's some other roads down here that will take it into the northwestern section of McCreary County. Also, I'm going to tell you what it looks like now. It looks like some of the winds associated with this thunderstorm, just the regular old straight line winds, could be in excess of about 70 miles per hour. Straight up winds. I'm not talking about the tornadic activity itself. I'm talking about just winds you would see on a normal day-to-day basis here. Some pretty intense stuff associated with our severe thunderstorm out there. And numerous severe thunderstorm warnings also in effect too, for a few counties out there in southern Kentucky as well, with all associated with this little line of thunderstorms that has developed here. It developed much earlier today and moved on through several states and has found its way right here into southern Kentucky, and packing quite a punch. With, again, let's factor in large hail, and you factor in the strong winds, maybe in excess of about 70 miles per hour. And there you see the live Doppler going by, updating it. Burnside, if you're in Burnside right now, you want to try to take shelter immediately. Anywhere within that line, that there could be some rotation, try to rotate and spin up a tornado. So anywhere down through there. They've actually just extended the tornado warning for the northern part of this as well for Pulaski County. So this just got a little more significant, a little more severe. So now officially, the city of Somerset included in on our tornado warning. So with that circulation spinning through there, kind of changes everything. And then you go into parts of Rockcastle County too. So you're under the gun. This is going out till 5:30. So this is going to extend our coverage of this severe thunderstorm until at least 5:30, or if we see that things have calmed down and the tornado warning will likely go away, then we'll cut away from it. But now we're going to lead you all the way up until 5:30. We'll stay right here with you for all you folks down there in Pulaski County, Wayne County, and McCreary County. The circulation along this line, sometimes what happens is it pushes so hard that it kind of spins up the air, and that looks like that's what's happening out there now in Pulaski County. That's why most of the county now covered up with some form of a tornado warning here that lasts now at least until 5:30, now including, as I mentioned, the city of Somerset. So one part of this tornado warning runs out till 5:30 for Pulaski and Rockcastle County, and then you've got the southern half of the storm for southern Pulaski County, McCreary, and Wayne County until 5:15 here, with the possibility again of a tornado maybe on the ground there. What has happened here is it was indicated on radar. Nobody has seen anything, so we're not talking about that. It's not an actual confirmed visual tornado. Radar showing more circulation, more spin, which suggests that there could be a tornado maybe on the ground or trying to get in that location right now. So we've got these warnings that are posted now for the city of Somerset. If you are in Somerset and Ferguson and some of those locations right around it, here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to take shelter immediately. Ringgold down to Ferguson. You got Alcade, all of these locations, Sugar Hill. You're under the gun now yourself. Science Hill to Dabney. You've got Barnesburg, Wellborn, Shopville, Elrod, Etna, Estisburg, Woodstock, Floyd, Eubank there in Pulaski County, Clarence, Randy, Beelick, Goochtown, Quail, Ottawa over in Rockcastle County. All of these locations, and one road looks like there. Let's see which one that is. That's 39, and crossing into 39. You want to take shelter right now. Go ahead and get prepared. We'll wait this storm out. It's not going to take most of your day up. It's going to try to keep you safe. That's the most important thing here. So I know you're going to be sitting in a safe location for 30 minutes, and it may be worth your while to kind of listen to us here, because this storm kind of pressing along here, pretty intense on radar and suggesting that there is some rotation. So in any of these locations you're looking at on our map, Piney Grove, 192 there along 192, any of these locations, watch out. Possible tornado coming your way right now, as it was indicated on Doppler radar just a little while ago. In Burnside, I mentioned this a moment ago, you already need to be in your safe spot, because this part of the line looks a whole lot more intense at the moment. So you need to be in your safe location. If you're in Tateville, Keno, any of these spots, you need to find a safe location as soon as you possibly can. Sloan's Valley to US 27 down there, Bower, watch out. This is a doozy right now, and it's pretty intense. And you can see with the live update there from the sweep and from the radar, it's really hammering down here. So Burnside, Tateville, those locations under the gun hardcore right now. They're feeling the full effects of Mother Nature as it's kind of bearing down on these locations. With, again, rotation indicated on Doppler radar, possible tornado developing, and could be in that general area here. So far, haven't seen anything that confirms that it has been indicated on the ground. So always the kind of a silver lining in this situation. You're not seeing it on the ground, which means maybe it didn't come all the way down. But then again, you're still dealing with a pretty intense thunderstorm that's going to be able to produce some very significant winds and large hail. So it's never truly a great situation when we have to do this severe weather coverage. And trust me, I'd rather not be here with you, because I'd rather it be a nice weather day, but not the case, because you do have this potential out there in southern Kentucky. And briefly, let me also mention this. All of us, or several of us, most of us, under severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock tonight. Now, here's the positive with you out there in Pulaski County, Wayne County, and McCreary County. Once this gets through, I think the weather situation gets a little more on the calm side. There may be some back stuff trying to back build, but once it gets through there, I think you'll be in the clear, especially for the significant weather. And not only are we talking about this, these are areas hit pretty hard with some heavy rain lately, so you factor in possible tornadoes in the area, strong winds in excess of about 70 miles per hour, large hail, heavy rain, flash flooding also becomes a threat. There's not a watch out for that, but the ground saturated and Pulaski under flash flood warning yesterday. So the ground's very, very full of water right now, so that's always a big threat too. So just keep all of these things in mind if you're out there in southern Kentucky or anywhere in eastern Kentucky right now with that flash flood threat. Let me give you the information on the severe thunderstorm warnings too here. So I'll pull just for the moment because, listen, 70 mile per hour straight line winds are awfully tough and it'll be hard to deal with. So let me also throw up just the straight up severe thunderstorm warnings, which include parts of several counties here. So let me just highlight that. Severe thunderstorm warning for Laurel, McCreary, Pulaski, Rockcastle, Wayne, and Whitley counties. A little sliver of Whitley, a little sliver of Laurel County under the gun for the severe thunderstorm warning too. So you've got that to have to deal with, and Rockcastle County, just the straight up severe weather threat alone, let alone the fact that we have tornado warnings galore going out. And that tornado warning just extended, as I pulled the tornado warning data back up, extended through parts of Laurel County, now parts of Whitley County. This includes the city of Corbin and northern sections of that area. I mean, we have got ourselves a doozy on our hands here as that continues to spin off toward the east. Tornado warning now out for several southern Kentucky counties until it looks like 5:45. 5:45 with the new extension of the tornado warning, including a little small area, including Corbin, okay, of Knox County, Laurel, McCreary, Pulaski, Rockcastle, Wayne, and Whitley, all under tornado warnings here until 5:45, it says. Tornado warning to 5:45 for all of those locations due to the fact that it certainly looks like there's some pretty stout rotation showing up on Doppler radar here that would suggest we may be dealing with a tornado. Haven't had to deal with one of these, the setup that I'm seeing right now, in a while. So this is rather impressive. And I'm afraid, you know, lately here we have been able to avoid any major damage from some of the severe weather. I'll tell you, just by looking at this and the way that this has developed, I am afraid we may have some rough spots down through there after this storm kind of blows on through. Because again, we're dealing with non-tornadic winds in excess of possibly 70 miles per hour. So anyway, let's pull the data down, and we'll go a little closer and show you who now is under the gun and where that storm is at and where the particular cell is located. And we'll get some more communities just to show you here to plot on our live pinpoint Doppler radar. There's the Bald Rock. From Bald Rock, we're all now in Laurel County, okay? High Top to Keavy, all of those locations. Then you get down to Corbin, the city of Corbin, under the gun with the tornado warning, kind of split. I wouldn't be surprised if this storm stays as intense as it is right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see this storm and this warning extended further toward the east, because it certainly has some strong characteristics right now. A big chunk of US 25 there going into Corbin. You're looking at just outside of Lilly with the warning again. Could very well come that way. London, you're not under the gun, but you still need to pay attention to the weather because it's going to get rough there very, very soon. Bernstadt to Pittsburgh, even you places there like that, they're not included in the actual tornado warning. You need to certainly pay attention. To Squibb, to Acorn, all of these locations under the gun for the tornado warning stab, and then into Sinking Valley, Hazel Patch, looking at several different locations here too. And there you see East Bernstadt, not under the gun technically, officially, for our tornado warning. But there you have it. All of these locations with the tornado warning. That's the new areas with it. City of Somerset down to Blue John. That's a new one that's showing up here. You also are dealing with it. Report coming in from the National Weather Service now saying that at 5:05, it's right now 5:12, my friends, 5:05, funnel cloud spotted by 10 miles east of Somerset in Pulaski County. So you look at, let's look at the radar here. At 5:05, talking about 10 miles east of Somerset, so this side of Somerset here, a possible funnel cloud indicated or spotted down there. So now you've got that possibility of somebody seeing a funnel cloud embedded within this thunderstorm. So that almost backs up the rotation factor here a little while ago. So again, a very dangerous situation out there in southern Kentucky. And for those of you just now maybe flipping on and seeing what's going on here with the severe weather, here's what we've got. We've got severe weather tips to throw out there for you. So let's switch over, guys, if we can, to our other computer and shoot up some of those severe weather tips for some of the new warned areas. You're talking about get to a basement or the lowest point of your home. If you don't have a basement, get to an interior hallway or a room there. And just again, as I mentioned, and the best way to say it is fortify yourself, fortify your body, keep as many walls between you and the outside world as you possibly can, because you want to stay safe. So that does it. Sometimes I've seen old reports and old video and old photos from where tornadoes have actually gone through an area, and one of the only locations in the entire house that kind of withstood the storm was some of the more centralized locations within that house. And obviously, basement's the ideal spot to be, but if you can't get there, that's where you can go to stay as safe as you possibly can by getting into an interior hallway or room in your house. On the bottom floor, remember all of those things, okay? Because again, as I mentioned, sometimes that's the only location that may be untouched. Seen so many reports like that through the years here. Stay away from windows for obvious reasons of flying debris outside, easily penetrating those barriers, and then abandoning mobile homes. So there are your simple severe weather tips here from top to bottom. All of these excellent pieces of advice that I encourage you to follow here. If you're anywhere out there in Pulaski County, McCreary County, Whitley County, again, including the city of Corbin, any of these locations, that's what you need to do. All right, let's check our live Doppler again. We'll go back to it and track these storms as best we can. You see a lot of bright colors out there, and those bright colors are there for a reason, my friends. We have a very intense thunderstorm moving through that area, indicated by Doppler radar. There was some rotation, possible tornado in this area. So, and also, just a few minutes ago, at 5:05 was the time the report was filed, or what time the people saw what they saw. Some folks saying about 10 miles east of Somerset, saying that they did see a funnel cloud. So a funnel cloud possible within that, which would verify everything that we need verified here. I'll just tell you, for the potential of a tornado in that area. So I'll continue to watch some of the data as it comes in here. So far, I haven't seen any reports of damage. The only report from the public coming in has been that funnel cloud. So that kind of just backs up what we're talking about. It makes this situation even more dangerous, as I mentioned a little while ago here. So again, a pretty wicked storm down there. There's no other way to really say it. I mean, it's a doozy, and it's moving off toward the east at a decent little rate of speed, around 50 miles per hour at last check. So if there's any positive to it, it's going to get out of there as quickly as possible, because that's a decent little rate of speed that we're going to be dealing with. So let's see, storms here. Let's pull up some more data for you folks at home so we can try to get as much information out there to you as we possibly can, because we certainly want to get some of the best data out there. So I'm changing some things up a little bit here for you, and trying to get some of the most extensive storm coverage possible going here. Some of the real good stuff, really good stuff here to start plotting on the radar, and seeing some more information here just off key here where you all can't see it. So it's kind of helping us out a little bit, showing you this significant stuff. So I'll be able to guide you along a little bit better as we fly by the seat of our pants when we talk about severe weather. So any little tool I can get to help us out always works. Small miracles here. So tornado warning now in effect for several locations, Laurel County and northern Whitley County. This is bearing down on you pretty hardcore. Again, with non-tornadic winds at in excess of about 70 miles per hour, and then you factor in the possibility of a tornado in there as well as it moves through these counties. An area, as I mentioned so many times when we have these tornadoes, an area that is no stranger to tornadic activity, because this is one of the locations highest in the state for confirmed tornadoes. So they're pretty, I don't want to say you're used to it, because you never get used to something like that, but it's a pretty common occurrence down through there, especially Laurel and Pulaski counties, I believe, leading the state at last check as far as number of confirmed tornadoes. All right, it was a trained weather spotter, okay, a trained weather spotter that did see that tornado or that funnel cloud a little while ago. And let's see, the trained weather spotters reported a funnel cloud in the vicinity of Burnside at 5:14. It's 5:18 now. That's blown on by Burnside here as far as the most intense part of the cell is concerned. But when the report came in, talking about 5:14, so a trained weather spotter seeing that, they've gone through specific training to tell them what to look for. So that's always a good, valid resource on the ground. You got to have those eyes. That's one of the most important things. You got to have those eyes on the ground, checking out the severe weather situation. Looks like some trees down in Pulaski County too, and trees and power lines down in Monticello, down in Wayne County, and trees down just across the county, according to law enforcement from down in Wayne County. So kind of a widespread thing going on with trees and possible power lines down through that area as well. So the beat goes on with this thunderstorm possibly producing a tornado. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings too. Never want to downplay those, because they're out, and we've got them over an extended area too, like for Whitley County toward the city of Williamsburg. Severe thunderstorm warning running all the way up to news time for Knox, Laurel, McCrary, Pulaski, Rockcastle, Wayne, and Whitley counties. All of these locations with severe thunderstorm warnings. And these storms, I'll tell you, just the severe thunderstorm producing winds possibly in excess of about 60 up to 70 miles per hour here. So that's another big threat. So you got a lot going on out there in southern Kentucky right now, and this cell not showing any sign of weakening. I hope to see that, and you just don't see it sometimes, and it hasn't happened so far. So we'll watch it as it continues to barrel off toward the east. But the big weather headline is going to be for northern Whitley County here, as you're getting ready to get hit, specifically there in Whitley County. You're already getting it pretty bad in McCrary County to Sawyer to Honeybee. Those locations are getting hit pretty hard. But then you look over here in northern Whitley County to Grove, again, including the city of Corbin. You're on the edge of that tornado warning, and that warning, or that cell, on its way in your direction here very, very soon. So as that starts to barrel off toward the east here at around 45 to 50 miles per hour, you'll be seeing it before you know it. As a matter of fact, we'll give you a little storm track here to give more specific information about locations, and so you can see a good timing on when it should be knocking on your door. So you've still got a few minutes here to get prepared. If there's a tornado within this thunderstorm, you've got some time here. So I'll take us out over the next 30 minutes here with my storm tracking software, and you're looking at Bald Rock, Deering, Goldbug, Barton, Perkins, Wilton, all of these locations within the path of this storm over the next 30 minutes here. Possible people affected, roughly, computer estimating at 39,000 people as the storm moves off toward the east at around 50 miles per hour. So there you see how long it's going to take for it to get to you. And places like Corbin there, a highly populated area in southern Kentucky. Let me also throw this up real quick for you. And just the cell itself, the line, you're looking at for Corbin, ETA in the next 14 minutes. So in the next 14 minutes, you're looking closer to about 5:35 for you all, roughly, right around that. So be prepared for that. In Williamsburg, you've also got a decent cell coming your way too. That's a severe thunderstorm and with some pretty intense winds. But as far as the tornadic threat, still suggesting that it's up here to the north of you. So from Corbin up to Bernstadt and some of the communities there in Laurel County. But you go down into the southeastern corner of Pulaski County, that's getting a pretty intense thunderstorm too. That included Poplarville, some of the roads there. You got Forest Service number 122A Road, pretty extensive name. Old Whitney Road, and you got Reeser Street, Turk Wilson, There's 92. You all see that, Bear Ridge Road. And there's another extension of, or the northern part of Old Whitney Road, and that comes off 192, it looks like. And there's McNeil, Corn Creek Road. You see Bald Rock, obviously, Power Plant Road is crossing over into, looks like Laurel County. This is just the little complex and the little area that will be affected by it within the next little bit. So that storm's on the way. So Turk Wilson, McNeil, Corn Creek Road, at least the southern parts of it, hey, it's there, it's on top of you. And a possible tornado embedded within this thunderstorm that is now lurking in your area. So the circulation factors there, the rotation could be coming, and that could produce a tornado. Honeybee getting hit hard right now in McCreary County, and that storm following right along 90 over toward 25 right there. So it's going to continue off toward the east, as I mentioned a little while ago, around 50 miles per hour. So if you're in that area, Youngs Creek to Redbird, the Redbird down there in Whitley County, some of those locations, you need to seek shelter right now, because this is a pretty intense thunderstorm that we have moving out there in southern Kentucky. So my friends out there in southern Kentucky, Laurel County, Pulaski County, Whitley County, Knox County, all of those areas, hey, we have got a very intense thunderstorm that is sweeping through that region. Could be producing a tornado. If it's not producing a tornado, I guarantee it's got winds in it at 60 to 70 miles per hour, because this is stout, my friends. I mean, this is a stout thunderstorm that is out there. So we have to watch it very, very closely as it continues its travels through Pulaski, Laurel, and Whitley counties, and almost out of McCreary County. And it couldn't come soon enough for you folks, because you've been hit hard already. We've already seen some reports of trees down and power lines down in Wayne County for the same cell, my friends, for the same cell. And it's just been a prolific little doozy of a severe thunderstorm. And it looks like they're extending some more warnings out into Tennessee, too. So just kind of goes to show you how bad the situation is from north to south, here along this severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warnings a little more toward the north of the little part of the line of complex thunderstorms that are moving through southern Kentucky at around 45 to 50 miles per hour. Some of them will probably slow down here pretty soon. Area very juicy, and what I mean by that is the air has been very fuel efficient for these thunderstorms. I mean, they're really going to get a lot of juice, a lot of energy out of it, and they're going to be able to continue to rotate off toward the east and possibly produce different types of severe weather, whether it be the strong winds alone or whether it be the possible tornado. The ingredients are out there to keep this thing going for a little while longer. And though in the last couple of sweeps it's lost some of those super intense characteristics in certain sections of it, that doesn't mean anything. It is still pretty intense thunderstorm. Let me show you something, and this is just a general observation, something they teach you a lot when you start studying Doppler radar. When you see a sharp change in color here from the pinks to the green, when it's so close like that, when it's not a big gap, that shows us that the winds are very intense out of that, because there's not a big difference between the contours. So you go from green to the pink in a very short area. You can see there, very, very short. So that tells me, just by looking at that, I can say, there's some pretty strong winds there. So with that being said, we've got a pretty intense little line of straight line winds alone coming through. And then, as I mentioned so many times here, the possibility of a tornado also embedded within that. Some good news coming out, and I suspected this because it's clearing the area. Tornado warning for northern Pulaski and west central Rockcastle counties will expire at 5:30, but we've still got our warning out here for the folks in Laurel County and Whitley County, and the bulk of it out of there for you folks in McCreary County too. So the tornado warning and the possible area where the tornado was at starting to clear your locations. But again, that does not mean we need to rest or we need to kind of sit back and relax, because it's still pretty intense. And the rotation factor is still embedded within our thunderstorm somewhere along the line here. You could be dealing with a possible tornado anywhere out through there if you're in one of those counties. Let me peel some data down for just a moment here. Here you see just a different view of radar. Pretty intense rotation still showing up in a couple of areas here. Just going to check something just for my own personal use. Still showing some shear within that thunderstorm. And the only reason I pulled that up there, didn't want to really do that, but the only reason I pulled it up there is showing that there's still some rotation within the thunderstorm. And now, Wayne County, you're also out of the woods as far as the warning is concerned. It may take it a second to come off the screen here, but in the northeastern corner of Wayne County, your tornado warning has been canceled for obvious reasons. It's cleared the area. Still dealing with some rain, but the cell that could be producing a tornado now well off to the east of your area, so you're in the clear as far as that's concerned. Still have that tornado warning in effect for several counties here: Knox, Laurel, McCrary, Pulaski, Rockcastle, and you got Whitley in on that. And again, Wayne probably dropped off of this data. Again, it takes a little while for it to filter through the systems here. So tornado warning still in effect for several counties until 5:45. And to kind of give you a better idea of where the warnings are at, again, let me peel this data down. Most of these warnings going away here pretty soon for all of these locations in Pulaski County, it looks like, especially for this section of the severe thunderstorm that possibly produced tornadoes in the area. That's going down here in the next little bit. So keep that in mind. We'll watch the rest of the storm as it moves off toward the east, because that's going to be the interesting factor here. So if you're right now in London, you're in Barberville, any of these locations, Williamsburg, starting to see the winds pick up, the rain's getting in there, you've got a very strong storm coming. The rest of us, like Barberville, to London, to Manchester, all of these locations, get ready, because we've got some storms out there. They're coming in our general direction. The atmosphere will probably support it for a little while longer, at least in some form of a strong thunderstorm. So it's going to be coming our way. So just be ready for this over the next hour or hour and a half. That line of thunderstorms is coming toward the rest of us. And it's kind of sweeping through where the severe thunderstorm watch is at. So it's kind of matching up with a lot of the data here that was suggested a little earlier on today. So that severe thunderstorm matching up to where the watch is at, so helping the whole validation process there, because it's certainly producing severe weather characteristics on radar. And again, already hearing some reports of trees down, power lines down over in Wayne County. So this is a decent little healthy line of thunderstorms moving through that area. And there you go. I just got done saying this is probably going to be extended. Well, you saw it live there on the air, extended further to the east, now covering most of Knox County. Most of Knox County, which leads me to believe, and that's where the rotation's at, it was showing up there a moment ago, leads me to believe that that's where the better shot for a tornado to get going is going to be at, is right there now crossing along I-75 in Whitley County. So let's go a little bit closer here. Does that warning include the city of Williamsburg? Let me peel that back. No, just to the north of Williamsburg. So embedded along this line that's going to blow over Interstate 75 within the next few minutes here, that's where our possible tornado is at. That's where the indication of some rotation was at. This new warning that includes Knox County and parts of, looks like a little shot of Clay County, just a little bit. This new warning extends out to 6 o'clock tonight, news time tonight, for the counties you see there highlighted, this including Bell County, parts of Bell County, Bell, Clay, Knox, Laurel, McCrary, and Whitley County, with this brand new tornado warning leading us all the way up until Mountain News at 6 time here this evening. So you've got a pretty intense thunderstorm blowing across Interstate 75. You've got it possibly affecting the folks there in Corbin, close to Williamsburg, some highly populated areas in southern Kentucky. Between the two there, quite a few people. And then you go over toward Barberville, another county seat here. And a lot of people just getting off of work. They're going to be traveling home here pretty soon. Maybe they got up at 4, maybe they got up at 5, just depends. So that storm's on the way, and when this happens, especially with the lead time we've got right now with the possible tornado out there, the lead time we've got allows us to give people a quick phone call. If you know they're on the road, give them a quick phone call and say, hey, we've got a doozy of a thunderstorm out there, and we could be talking about a tornado. Call and let them know, because they don't even know what's going on right now. If they're just in the car listening to the music, whatever, maybe they have a CD on, because of course the emergency alert will go over the radio, but if they're listening to a CD or an MP3 player, whatever it is, they're not hearing it, so they need to know. Give them a call and let them know that they're dealing with a pretty intense thunderstorm there in Whitley County, especially Whitley County right now. And maybe the northern part of this line not as bad as it once was. It certainly doesn't look that way here. Now there's little possible rotation locations all along right now where you can just you can bet your bottom dollar on that. There's some little spots that look like they're spinning, so that could suggest that there could be a tornado anywhere within that. So there you have it, the latest on what we've got going on with the severe thunderstorm possibly producing a tornado. Until there's actually a tornado confirmed, I like to still call it just a regular severe thunderstorm, possibly producing a tornado, okay? Because that's what we've got. Until we see somebody that's actually getting a visualization of it on the ground, I like to stay on the positive side of that. It's still a very dangerous situation. So with that moving in Knox County and Whitley County right now, I mean, really bearing down on you folks, we've got some major issues to have to deal with here over the next, I'm sitting here looking at 5:33 officially, so for the next 25, 30 minutes, we've got some major issues with that part of the thunderstorm. Let's lay a track on it with the new area that has recently popped up here. That part of the storm is moving at around, looks like 50 miles per hour. I'll track us out for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes here. And there you see some of the locations affected as it moves east at around 50, Moore Hill, Providence, Bowman, you got Hammond, all of those areas. So included in on this tornado warning, and that's the track of it. And right now, you folks there in Corbin, it is bearing down on you. The intense part of the cell is right there. It's right with you. North Corbin, Woodbine, it's there. And it's intense, and there's possibly a tornado in the area. And one of the things with this, got some pretty intense rain also that's creeping through the area. So this is going to cause problems as far as what you're going to be able to see. So just go ahead and get your safe location right now, my friends, right this moment. Get to that safe location, maybe in a basement, interior hallway or room in your bottom floor. That's where you need to be if you're sitting there in Corbin right now, anywhere along the line, down to Woodbine. Some of the other locations, Favor, and again, if I'm mispronouncing these, I'm terribly sorry, but you can see them and you know where it's at. Rockholds, you need to get into a safe location as well. And then over to Perkins, you're still just seeing the rain, Perkins, so hold on to your hats. This is a doozy, and it's coming your way. And Williamsburg getting hit very hard by very intense thunderstorm there, possibly producing a tornado along this line. Then you go over to Knox County, to Loudon, to Gosdale, up to the city of Barberville. You got Swan Pond there, Boone Heights, and then you see Barberville right there in the middle. This is just a precautionary measure. I'm giving you the warning right now, letting you know that it's on the way, and you're under the gun right now and for at least the next 25 minutes. As I sit and look at the clock at 5:35, the warning goes out until 6, and again, there could be an extension, there could be some manipulation of time with it, so you're running all the way out here until 6 o'clock at the very least with this storm. And as I mentioned, it does not show a whole lot of signs of weakening in the particular area that we're concerned about. So Emmanuel to Heydrich, all of these spots, Roslyn, Gray, you're looking at Seiler over there, you're under the gun, and right now, Corbin, you are getting hit hard, hit very hard in Corbin, with, again, storm possibly producing tornado through there. And then you go up to Laurel County, where things have yet to get extremely crazy for you. You've got a pretty intense thunderstorm there along 312, and there's 192, and then there's 363. So it's kind of following right along there with 192, 312, and 363. That's coming through that area in southern Laurel County, crossing the interstate down there too. Something I just noticed here, which is very impressive. Notice how right here in this part of the storm that's blasting through Corbin, we'll get some wind reports out of that area. We'll have to. It's just too intense not to. But notice how we've got a little trench, or a little, it looks like a little bubble. It kind of bows out. That's the word we're looking for here, trying to find 2 or 3 things at once. But you see how it's kind of blowing out there just a little bit with the indication of a little bubble there in this general area here. You can kind of see how it's calm here, but you see how it's bubbled out a little bit. Right through here, that's showing me there's a little notch of some pretty strong winds. When it kind of bows out and bubbles out like that, that suggests that strong straight line winds. Now, I'm not talking tornado there. I'm just saying straight line winds. There could very well be that embedded too, but that's showing straight line winds, and that is pretty intense stuff when you're dealing with what we're dealing with. So as that kind of moved through there into Corbin, you just got a decent shot of some straight line winds, but again, not disregarding tornadic threat too. So I'm just going by what I can see and tell, particularly right there on radar, just by looking at the storm from this point of view instead of looking at some of the other data. So again, anybody in Knox County that I mentioned a moment ago, from the city of Barberville up there to the border, it's coming. It's on the way. You need to be in your safe locations. Southern parts of Laurel County also under the gun right now, but I think the bulk of the where the rotation may be will be through here, through this general area now. And you look at southern Laurel County, still a pretty strong storm that could produce significant winds and also the potential for large hail, because sometimes that's also what causes that color there you're looking at, which is the purples and some of the really intense stuff there that is indicated by when we talk about hail and also heavy rain. You can't also rule that out, because it's certainly going to be out there embedded within the thunderstorm too as it moves through southern Kentucky there. Corbin seeing that, Williamsburg seeing that, Barberville the next large area to see it. And of course we've talked about some of the smaller locations too, all of them getting in on the thunderstorm here. And whether it's producing a tornado at the time, that's going to be, that's yet to be seen. Haven't seen any ground confirmation of a tornado in that area, and sometimes you have to go back the next day before we can actually confirm anything after the storm reports come in. But I haven't seen anybody sending us information here of any sorts as far as official storm reports. So we'll check some email here so I can see if anything's came into the station. So as I'm doing that, I'll just keep the picture up there of the radar, and so you can see where it's going here. And I'll log in here to the email. It booted me out. We'll check it out and see if I've gotten any reports through this as well. Watching several different reports, and I'm not seeing anything here within the last few minutes. So nothing as far as anybody seeing anything that I don't see. No, I don't see anything here. And let's check the Twitter side. I don't know if anybody out there uses any of these media resources. They're real handy, and if you have a photo, a picture, a video, a good location to send it to us here at the station. But wait until the storm passes. Listen, I don't need that picture right now if you're in the middle of a storm. It can wait. It's not that important. Your life's more important. So you just wait till the storm goes by. Then, when you get everything together, then send it to me. Right now, I really don't care. We'd like to just make sure you're safe here. So I'll get the picture or whatever information later. It's good to have it, but I'll tell you, your life's more important, I believe. So the storm's still bearing down through parts of Knox County. By the way, didn't see any reports, so there you go. And Twitter's down for maintenance, so there you go. That's just the luck of the day, huh? So the thunderstorm moving through Knox County and Whitley County is still pretty intense, and you're still dealing with possible tornadic activity. And let me check some other data over here with, here we go. I want to see the actual, where the rotation could be at. I'm looking on another computer. Remember, the Weather Center is full of computers. I'll check it, and we'll be able to, maybe I'll get a better idea of what's going on here too, so we can get you the latest information, and I can try to get you ahead of this storm a little bit, looking for rotation factors within the storm. And right now, showing some pretty wild winds throughout the entire storm. That's happening. So as far as looking at some rotation factors, seeing maybe a little hint there could still be some alive through the storm. But one thing I'm seeing is the very intense winds straight up. Just straight up, no doubt, kind of winds that comes out of these severe thunderstorms. So let's see, base, let's go this one, let's check this data too. All right, so yeah, there's certainly at least some indication there's rotation left over within the thunderstorm out there in Whitley County and now into Knox County. We've been talking about it for a while. We've talked about it for you folks there in Corbin. Things are going to try to lighten up here in the next little bit, so just hang tough. Hang tough. You can hear me talking to you. Hang tough for the next little bit. You'll just be dealing with some pretty intense rainfall after that. But as far as the tornado warning and the strong stuff, it's trying to get out of there now. You've been dealing with some strong winds that kind of blew on through, and it's on the way out for you folks. Finally on the way out down there in Corbin. But now, as I mentioned, city of Barberville, that's going to be the location that we're going to have to watch pretty closely here as it continues to move along. It'll be heading towards you very, very soon. You get into southern Laurel County, and I want you to check some of this out. Still dealing with a pretty intense one. They didn't extend the tornado warning up here in this general area. What they did is they took a severe thunderstorm warning on out. So that just shows that that part of the cell, what I mentioned a minute ago, that has weakened some as far as their concerns for a tornado. So that's gone. Still could produce one at any time. Sometimes those can just start to develop. But as far as the high threat of that happening, it's gone down to some degree. So they extended it as a severe thunderstorm warning, which is, again, not a walk in the park. And as I say that, they're starting to see the rotation factor, and they've extended it through that area as well. So, hey, on top of things right now. So there goes the possible tornado warning now out through Clay County now. How far and how long does this go? Well, this goes up until 6:15 for Clay, Knox, Laurel, and Whitley, the new batch of the tornado warning going out that far. And then you've got the old one, too, that's covering some of those same counties. So tornado warning now in effect for more sections of Clay, Knox, Laurel, and Whitley counties. What happens is anywhere along this line of thunderstorms that can just spin up rotation all of a sudden. Maybe that's what they were just seeing as I was seeing it too, as I was talking about it, and said that there's always a little bit of rotation anywhere along particular storms like this. We're getting a true cylinder down here that suggests that there has been rotation right now, right there. That little cylinder you see, that is for true TBS, that's what we call TBS affected there. So you're looking at, want to see some more information, want to throw the path out there. So let's, we'll get the path out here in just a moment for you folks, but you can kind of see the other general information that I just plotted here with the live pinpoint Doppler, because there's plenty going on out there in southern Kentucky with the extension now of another tornado warning that pushes all the way through the 6 o'clock hour, 6:15. So that's going into Mountain News time. Still haven't seen any emails or any reports here through the station email of anything coming in. So again, if once the storm gets past you, you've got a picture that you may have snapped somewhere along the way, let me know. We'll try to look at it, and we'll try to get that up and at 'em for you, okay? And try to pass that information along. You can always go to our web channel too, WYMTnews.com, and post that stuff. So keep that in mind. And then Twitter, right now, or was a moment ago, it was down, and it's a good little area for, if you've never heard of, a good little way we can share information between each other too. So if you don't have that yet, that'd be a handy dandy thing. You can talk to us here directly. A little hard to do it with the severe weather ongoing here. I can't really chat with you wide open with the warnings and trying to track them live on the air, but I would certainly try. And still down for maintenance. This is the second time it's happened to me during a severe weather situation. Down for maintenance, that social networking side. So it's down for me, so I'm sure it's down for you. So if you get the chance, you may want to sign up for it at a later time. Tornado warning, though, blasting through southeastern Laurel County now. That's the newest one. This stretches all the way into the city of Manchester and covering up a large area of Clay County along 80. You see 421 going up toward the north there and into parts of Rockcastle County eventually. So that's where we've got one tornado warning. That's the newest one, and that's the one that we have that goes out for the longest period of time, running all the way out until 6:15 here this evening, for the potential of a tornado. And every report that I've seen, except for one confirming that somebody actually saw, a train spotter saw a funnel cloud in Pulaski County, everything else has been indicated by Doppler radar. So anywhere along this line, some of these storms could spin up a tornado, and that's what we've got going on here. That's why I'm on the air, and that's why I've been on the air here for the last little bit, because we've been watching these storms as they have gone through eastern Kentucky and southern Kentucky there, more specifically, and just kind of spinning along the way with possible tornadic activity. So there you got one warning out. You go down to the south, we've got another warning out. We're dealing with some heavy rain, intense lightning, I'm sure, all embedded within this. City of Barberville, I've been talking to you for a while now. Rain starting to inch its way in there, kind of light right now. The winds have picked up. I'm just telling you what it looks like you're experiencing. So get ready for the doozy, because it's out there and it's coming your way. Now, if you're over toward Pineville, in a small little area of Bell County as well, you've got that bearing down on you from Tinsley to Ingram, Clear Creek Springs. The warning just outside of Pineville, but you're going to experience a decent thunderstorm here within the next little bit. You've got that coming your way with this intense thunderstorm that is moving through southern Kentucky. Now, so far I haven't seen anything, any major storm reports other than trees down out of it, and that coming from Wayne County a little earlier. So if you've got some information, pass that along to law enforcement, pass that along to us here, and maybe we can get crews out there as well. So we certainly don't want any damage for you or your family, loss of life, anything like that. But pass that information along if it does happen to the proper channels. That way, maybe you can get a little help, maybe get some folks out there to check out the damage too. And we could also, of course, do it for weather purposes too, to see if indeed maybe a tornado went through your area, whether it's straight line winds. So don't hesitate to do that after the fact. Again, you don't want to put yourself in danger right now because you've got that possibility of a tornado outside your house in some of these locations. So I think if I had a choice, I'd sit right there in the house. Even me, I would do that. As much as I appreciate weather, I would be sitting right there in the house trying to get out in it. Got to be smart when it comes to this stuff. So that's what we're trying to do, is help you out, folks. Help you out. All right, city of Barberville, getting closer and closer to you, inching very close now with the possibility of a tornado. Southeastern Laurel County. Let's highlight some of these locations that are getting ready to be affected by that part of our tornado warning. Lida, Leswas, you got Sasser, there's an area called Lake, Marydale, Hooker, Urban, Deer Lick, Portersburg, Grace, Seibert, Blue Hole. You got the city of Manchester, all of this now in Clay County, obviously. Manchester, Littleton, Goose Rock in Clay County, Plank, Lincoln, Ogle, Bright Shade, close to Asher's Fork, Hammond, dipping back down toward the south into Knox County now, folks. Scaff, and you got Walker there. There's Bimble, Old Flat Lick, you got Ivy Grove, and there's Barberville. Rain's picked up on you, hasn't it, my friends? Hydrick, Swan Pond, all of these locations. Now you're under the gun officially for the potential of that severe weather to start picking up. The intensity's there, and here we go with the round of severe weather, possibly, as mentioned so many times, possibly producing tornado within this line of thunderstorms. I will say this, and within the last several sweeps that have gone by and updated this data that I'm looking at, the line, not as potent as it was, but that doesn't disregard the fact that it's still producing strong winds. But as far as some of the heavy rain factors and some of those things, maybe they've gone down just a little bit for the moment. But again, there's still some juicy air here in place, so that could really still cause for some problems and some concerns right here for me here as we continue to watch the thunderstorm move all through Knox County, Laurel County, and Clay County here, and parts of Bell County. Don't forget them either. It's just a little small chunk, but you're still under the gun here, I believe, for the next several minutes here with the severe thunderstorm possibly producing a tornado in southern Kentucky. Been watching these storms since about 10 minutes till 5. It's been about an hour that we've been covering the storms nonstop here. And we're going to continue until these warnings go down, and these warnings go down, some of them, until 6:15. So it's going to be a little while as far as the coverage is concerned. So we're watching them very closely there for you in Clay County, Knox County especially. Now it's really gotten a little crazy for you in the city of Barberville, much like it was for Williamsburg and Corbin, some of these larger cities. And now you're really starting to feel what's going on outside. And that's what we've got as these storms sweep on through. Let me get my computer up here and throw some of the tips up for you so you can see some of the tips again. So if we can switch sources in there, guys, and go over to our other computer. There we go. Any of those locations in Clay County, Bell County, Knox County, and Laurel County, all of those spots just go by these tips. Go to a basement, the lowest point of your home right now. If you're anywhere in those places, and if you don't have that basement, bottom floor of your house. That's where you want to be. And if you've only got one floor, then you're in the right location. You want to get into maybe an interior hallway, maybe a bathroom inside that hallway, the middle of your house, okay? That's what we mean by the interior hallway or room. So you want to get yourself away from any windows that are directly exposed to the outside. And you also want to, again, I've been using this today, you want to kind of fortify yourself. And by fortifying, you're putting more walls in between you and the outside world. So that just kind of adds more protection to you. Just like a football player adds pads to his body, you want to do the same thing too here by possibly grabbing some blankets and pillows and some other soft things like that. Cushions from a couch, whatever it may be. This will, if there's any debris that falls, this will add extra protection to your shell, your personal shell, your body, and it will kind of protect you from some of the falling debris that could be associated with the thunderstorm that we have out there right now that's, again, possibly producing a tornado in that area of Knox County, really bearing down on Knox County right now, parts of Bell County, and then over to Laurel and Clay counties. So anywhere in that area, this is what you want to do. You want to follow those simple tips that I just passed along to you, because you could be dealing with all kinds of trouble here, my friends, with the possibility of some severe weather. Now, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings also in effect out there too. So not only are we talking about for tornadoes, we're talking about severe thunderstorms as well. All right, let's go back to the radar data. And as I just mentioned, severe thunderstorm warnings, I've also got that data plotted here. So you're covering up most of Bell County with severe thunderstorm warning, then a little chunk with that tornado warning. All right, so then you go up here to parts of Knox County, kind of the reverse situation to Bell County, just a small area only with severe thunderstorm warning, and then Clay County covered up with tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings issued for almost the entire county at this moment. So dealing with that, dealing with all kinds of severe weather all throughout this area for the last hour. It's just been really booming through there. A tornado was reported. Let me pull that back up. A tornado was reported. Computer. Here's another report. Funnel cloud earlier from Ferguson at 5:37. Tornado. Let's see. It happened between 5:22 and 5:37 in Ferguson. They did see a funnel cloud out in Pulaski County. So, you know, you're looking at probably the peak time when that was around through there. So, possible funnel cloud out there reported by the public. Now, let me jump back around. I've got some more reports that have come in. Trees down area-wide in Whitley County, all across the county, and McCreary County. There's another one I wanted to see in particular. There it is. Tornado reported. It was located near Dishman Springs there in Knox County, or near Barberville, and it was moving off toward the east at around 40 miles per hour. It looks like they've extended the northern part of this too for a possible tornado, now including all of Clay County, the northern half of the county under the tornado warning, and you've got all of Owsley County, or a big chunk of it, covered up with a tornado warning. This going out until 6:30. You got Jackson County included in on this. So tornado warnings posted for these areas until 6:30 p.m. So this pushes us all the way through news time. So we've got the tornado warnings out there. We've got them out for Knox County. We've got numerous areas, and now hearing the a report that there may have been one spotted near Dishman Springs here in Knox County at 5:49, so less than 10 minutes ago. So an action-packed evening here, I'll tell you, with the severe weather threat that continues to kind of barrel through all of the counties in southern Kentucky, and it continues to inch its way eastward here. Rotation factor staying alive. And then you get some visualization out there from the public and some trained spotters saying, yeah, there could be a tornado out there. We've got something to be really concerned about. So we've got some things to be concerned about if you're in anywhere in Laurel County, Clay County, now southern Jackson County. Southern Jackson County, you're now under the gun, and Clay County. Just kind of preparing you folks because you're kind of out away from where the actual storm is at. So you've got some time to get on the move and do what you need to do to make you and your family as safe as they possibly can be. So you just get on the ball here over the next few minutes and you get in those safe locations, because we've got possible tornadoes out there here this evening. This is coming from different parts of the line. This isn't just one thunderstorm. This is coming out from different parts of the line, from the north and to the south. So this isn't just one thunderstorm producing possible tornadoes. This is areas along the line that show indication that we've got some rotation embedded within the line of thunderstorms that continues barreling off toward the east at anywhere between 40 and 50 miles per hour. It's lost some of its forward motion here in the last little bit. Most of the storms earlier were coming in at 40 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, now down to 40 miles per hour. So a very, very scary weather situation that it continues to kind of go along here in southern Kentucky near Barberville, where there was a possible tornado spotted. There you see Dishman Springs. There you see it right there. And there's Barberville. That's where a possible tornado was spotted a little while ago, called in by some folks down through there. So Dishman Springs, possible tornado. This now just coming in from Laurel County law enforcement. I'm not sure what branch, but in the Levi Jackson State Park, possible, again, I want to stress, possible tornado touchdown in the Levi Jackson State Park. So if we could, if anybody can hear me in the newsroom, it would be delicious if you all could call and maybe call around and see what's going on near the Levi Jackson State Park. Possible tornado touchdown coming in from law enforcement here within the last few minutes. At 5:45, so there you go, at 5:58. So we may want to check in on that, because we did have the warning out and been under a warning for a better part of the last hour and a half now, all through this area. So again, that's going to be the big report that I've received here in the last few minutes. Possible touchdown near Levi Jackson State Park in Laurel County. Somebody thought they may have spotted one in Dishman Springs in Knox County. That continues to move toward the city of Barberville. So that could have also affected you folks directly too. So we have to think that you folks there in Manchester need to be in the safest place that you can possibly be in right now, because that storm that may have had a tornado, it's had a possible history of it, this could be coming toward your direction too. It's certainly drifting that way. I know the storms don't look as intense as they did a little while ago. If you've been with me for any amount of time here tracking these storms look a little bit weaker, but they're still keeping that rotation factor alive. They still got that spin to them, that circulation, and that's what keeps the chances for these storms to produce tornadoes alive. That's what happens out there. Now, City of Pineville, you're just outside of the official tornado warning. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect. Well, guess what? You've got a pretty intense thunderstorm coming your way, and at any rate. So you need to be in a safe location right now. Don't hesitate. Get to a basement. Get to the bottom floor of your house. Get to an interior room. Stay safe out there today, because this weather situation, it was bad already, but when you start hearing the reports come in to see, all right, there's a lot of trees down, there's this, there's that, people are spotting things. Now we have to be concerned. Now we have to be concerned. And we just got, there's all kinds of things shuffling around here. Let me bounce back to the other report that just came down. All right, National Weather Service has extended the severe thunderstorm watch, okay? That's going to include the following areas: Harlan, Knott, and Letcher until 9 p.m. So a few more counties added on to the overall watch in particular. So several more counties now under the gun for the severe thunderstorm watch here until 9 o'clock tonight. So a few more counties added on. And then, of course, we've got numerous severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings still posted for a big chunk of the area. And a good call coming from Storm Prediction Center and National Weather Service folks there, kind of extending that, because where that's going, this area through here, that's going to be pretty intense. So, and these storms are moving due east. I mean, due east. So as they continue to move in that direction, they're going to cover up several more counties here in southeastern Kentucky. So, good call out of both locations there, Storm Prediction Center, and also out of the National Weather Service over there in Jackson. They both kind of get together and put their heads together on watches, and then it's independently done by the Weather Service. I don't issue warnings here. I just kind of relay the information. They issue the warnings. I can go on there and tell you how bad it's going to be, but officially it comes from them to be warnings, and then we follow up and kind of go nonstop with it once this type of situation happens. And unfortunately, that's what we've got out there, a situation that includes possible tornadoes. Numerous reports now coming in that there was funnel clouds spotted in Ferguson and other parts of Pulaski County earlier. Then you got a possible tornado touchdown in Levi Jackson State Park by law enforcement saying that. Now, again, that's unconfirmed. That's not a confirmed report. Again, you have to get out and kind of look at the damage and how it's been spread out. Then we can confirm whether it was a tornado or not. All depends on several characteristics, because it could have just been straight line winds. But with all these reports coming in, and another one coming in from down in Knox County that the folks thought they did see a tornado near Dishman Springs earlier. Now, that's been a while ago, so in Dishman Springs you're dealing with heavy rain now and some gusty winds, and that went on toward the city of Barberville. So with all of that being said, we've got ourselves a pretty risky situation out there with these strong storms and that rotation factor out again kind of embedded. We talked about it this morning, about the news this morning. We could have some bad weather, and now here we are where we're having it. We mentioned it yesterday, and it's out there, and it's really doing some possible, I won't say it's doing the damage right now. What I've seen so far has been just the storm reports coming in of trees down and this and that. But once this goes by, that's when we'll find out what kind of damage we're dealing with. $quarter to $half sized hail over in Whitley County coming in at around 5:30. It started at 5:30 and ended at around 5:42. So 12 minutes of hail that size. Man, that can cause all kinds of damage. Just imagine that hitting your car, coming down at a pretty significant rate of speed, all kinds of damage coming from just hail alone, and then you factor in some of the winds. Manchester, I've been talking to you for a while now. I've been talking to you saying, hey, you need to get in your safe location. Now is the time to put that plan into motion and get somewhere that you can be that is safe. So get there as quickly as possible. Basement, bottom floor of your home, whatever it may be that you can do to get yourself safe. That's what you need to be doing at this moment, because you're about to run out of time, because that storm will be there very, very soon. The city of Pineville now getting rocked by the heavy stuff. Everything else kind of clearing out for you in Barberville as far as the significant weather. You're still seeing that rainfall. That's still going to be with you. But as far as the main threat, the significant threat, that is now moved east of the area. Now I'm waiting to see what happens next. Still some indication that rotation is there. So will there be an extension of that warning? Will it push eastward? We'll wait and see on that here very shortly. And of course, we'll be right here with you, updating the information as we go along here, because it's still a very dangerous situation anywhere in any of these counties. Dangerous situation. I've seen reports of, or seen indication on radar where the storm itself could be producing winds in excess of 60, 70 miles per hour. All right, that's good news. All right, you're seeing severe thunderstorm warnings that have just been extended eastward. That's bad news, it's good news at the same time. But we're still going to see strong winds, and at any moment a tornado could develop within this. But the big threat for tornadic activity could have gone down just a little bit. That's what the folks over at the Weather Service are probably seeing as well. So now only extending severe thunderstorm warnings out toward the east. And that's what we've got now, covering up all of Leslie County, Harlan County, and some of these other locations. Severe thunderstorm warnings for Bell, Clay, Harlan, Leslie, Letcher, Owsley, and a little, I wouldn't call that a sliver, I'll call that a chunk of Perry County until 6:45. And if the storms stay on the track they're on and they continue to keep some of those severe weather characteristics, we may be under a warning county-wide here in Perry pretty soon, just depending on what happens here within the next, well, that goes out to 6:45. Well, within the next 40 minutes, depending on what happens here, we may see an extension on that or an expansion. But a very intense storm still moving through eastern Knox County, and now the city of Manchester bracing for possible tornadic activity. Tornado warning out. The city of Manchester out toward Urban. You got Wildcat, some of these spots, Burning Springs, Trixie. You go on up toward the north into Owsley County. There's Island City. You got South Fork, south of the city of Boonville, south right there of Boonville with the tornado warning. But still, be on the guard here over the next 30 minutes or so, or next 24 minutes to be exact. For the next 24 minutes. It doesn't look as intense I'll say that, but sometimes even when they don't look as intense and as they start to weaken some, they start to go down with their intensity levels. That can be the same time period that we start to see maybe the storm or the tornado come out. I've seen through just reading and the research and watching some of these other storms and other things like that. You see how some of them can kind of fool you when they finally decide to possibly dump out the tornado itself into an area. So again, watching that severe thunderstorm for a possible tornado. Trees down, power out for most of the county in Whitley County. A report just coming in here, I'm just seeing from law enforcement down there. They reported that most of the power for the county is out, and for good reason. I'll tell you, because when it went through there, it was a doozy. It was a very intense thunderstorm. Tornado warning now canceled for central Whitley and southern Laurel County. Well, it's out of there. So yeah, that's the good call there. So the tornado warning down now, still dealing with the pretty intense rain and the possibility of some strong winds. So that's not going to go away for a while. We'll still have to deal with that here, I believe, for the next several minutes for you all. And for the rest of us here, we're just all getting prepared there, like the city of Manchester and some of the other locations throughout Clay County, and then you go over toward Annville there in Jackson County. Some pretty intense stuff headed your way too. So Knox and Clay County still dealing with tornado warnings, just part of it now, just part of the county until 6:15. I also want to mention that because again, there's two different parts to the one tornado warning. You got Clay, Knox, Laurel, and Whitley until 6:15. Just scratch the Whitley and the Laurel. Sometimes the computer doesn't update just as quickly as some of the information comes out. Scratch them off the list. It's now out for Clay and Knox counties and far eastern sections of Knox County at that, and another part of the cell in the southern Clay County. That's where you've got it at with the other part of the tornado warning. Then you got the northern half, which runs out until 6:30. So a couple of different warnings issued for that county, and just depending on the cells. That's what it's all about. And then you go down to Bell County, where the tornado warning was at. It's kind of cleared that now, but the city of Pineville and other parts of the county still dealing with that intense rainfall and a pretty stout thunderstorm that's moving through there, and we'll be moving along 119 pretty soon here. Well, I guess technically it really is. And then there's 221, and then you see 66. So these are just some of the locations, some of the roads that that storm's crossing right now, and it moves off toward the east around 40 to 50 miles per hour is the general motion right now, the forward motion of the line of thunderstorms that we have here in southern Kentucky, eastern Knox County, and then you go up here to Clay County too, where the tornado warning is in effect for the next little bit. This part of the warning, then you got another part of the warning out too, but wondering, the rotation's probably still there, but wondering how long this may end up going. New severe thunderstorm warnings extended now for parts of Clay County and Leslie County and also Harlan County. Kind of updated the information here. So you're still under the gun with the possibility of some strong winds, large hail, the whole kit and caboodle that goes hand in hand with all of that. All of these locations also under severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock tonight, and I'll get a graphic up for that later. But let's shift over to the tips real quick, guys, and we'll show those again, kind of pass along all the information in any of these counties that have been warned, whether it's a tornado, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning. These tips can help save your life because, hey, it's the same thing as you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be dealing with the strong winds that can cause all that damage. That's why we never try to downplay some of these severe thunderstorms, because they're just as potent and just as strong as what you deal with too with these tornado warnings. And sometimes they just go hand in hand. You got the strong wind, you got the hail factor, you got all those things. So here are your tips. Get to your basement. Get to your basement to the lowest point of your home. Just a second before I go on with those tips, reading some new information as it comes in. Okay, nothing new in Clay County as far as anybody seeing it on the ground, but still just seeing that rotation factor. All right, now here's some positive news. At 6:15, which is about 4 minutes away, the tornado warning for northeastern Knox and Clay counties, the parts of Clay counties, will expire at 6:15. So that is what we want to see. unfortunately, we've still got that strong storm out there that will still produce some pretty strong winds for you folks there in Clay and for Clay counties and Leslie counties and then into Harlan counties. But we still got the tornado warning that is out in parts of Clay County, the northern section of the county, which does include the city of Manchester. And that's going to move eastward here over the next 30, looking at 28 to 30 minutes here, still moving off toward the east, northeast in that general area. So the other warnings going down with tornado warnings still have the one that's crossing 421 up here in Clay County and that area with possible rotation, possible tornado, including the city of Manchester. Some other reports now just filtering in, this coming from Bell County. Bell County public reporting funnel clouds over there from Ingram down to Middlesboro. Here within the last few minutes here. Let me just kind of get on down through there. So Middlesboro outside of some of the initial part of the significant weather, but still some reports coming in between 552 and 607 funnel cloud possible in that area. And then you go to Ingram in Bell County. And my mind not exactly showing me exactly where that's at. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I've seen it 1,000 times show up on these maps. But over in Ingram as well, coming in with a report of a possible funnel cloud over there too. So you've got that near the city of, I believe it's near Pineville too. So possible tornado. There it was. So you got Ingram over here, just several miles to the west of Pineville. So there we go. Possible tornado over there too. Some folks saying they thought they actually saw a funnel cloud down through there. And numerous other warnings continue to barrel down through several counties here, crossing over from Clay County to Leslie County now with a little bow. You see a little bow? That's indicating some pretty strong winds there across 66. And then we go back up to Clay County where I was originally before I started seeing those reports come in about possible funnel clouds here and there. Just trying to pass all that information. As I see it, I'll shoot it out to you. So all kinds of stuff coming out here this evening from these storms, from Burning Springs to Wildcat to Mine, Island City over there in Owsley County, Taft, Trixie, and you got several other locations, Egypt. I'm going to call that Zeke's Point. I'm not sure on the exact pronunciation. That's what we'll call it. May not be correct right now, just kind of going by the seat of my pants, but that's what it looks like to me. All Rock, Manchester, Hector, and you got several other locations here too in Clay County that need to be watched very closely this morning, going out until 6:30. A tornado warning until 6:30 for that area. Now, where it's a little more intense on radar, probably getting some heavier rain and some of the other things that go along with that in that nature, strong winds, just regular winds, crossing over into Leslie County. That's where we've got that severe thunderstorm, and then another one that will affect you folks there, my old friends there in Harlan County too, coming your direction very shortly as well. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, but this area has had a history, okay, of possible tornadic activity. We got a report a little while ago from Levi Jackson State Park over there in Laurel County, where there could have been a tornado touchdown somewhere in the park. I haven't seen any more reports on that. I'm sure our wonderful news staff's in there checking all the information on that, so we'll have some of that coming up. Mountain News will be on here soon, I assure you. We'll just ride these warnings out. We'll have reports from other news of the day, and we'll get that information along to you too very shortly. We'll just, again, like I said, we'll ride these warnings out. And my dear friend Steve Hensley just walked out. Have you got any information, anything confirmed out west? They're checking on a lot of things from out in that area because a lot of stuff going on. As I've been with you now too long, I'll tell you. It's up to 6:16 right now. 6:16. Yes, sir. And unconfirmed, just being told in my ear, unconfirmed reports of some funnel clouds down there toward Middlesboro. This just adds on to a whole list. So many people seeing so many things here today that certainly makes you think that what we're seeing here with the severe weather today is certainly valid. Trees and power lines down over in Gray and Knox County. I can imagine that would be the case with the intense winds that rolled through there a little while ago. Just watching it here on radar, I'll tell you, it was brutal as it kind of blew right on through there in Knox County. But the tornado warning that we're monitoring right now in Clay County, and it rolls all the way out until 6:30. If you look at it here on radar, it's lost a lot of the intense characteristics, the true characteristics you look for on radar. But sometimes there's other types of radar data we look at here. And that's what indicates where rotation is at. We don't see it right here. We see it on the other data, which I try to avoid using here on the air for just why? It's a lack of confusion for you folks at home, and I can show you everything you need to see right here and get the positive information out, the good stuff that you need to hear about keeping safe. So we stay right here with this, but still showing some rotation on other data that I've seen here in the last few minutes and that I look at on some of the other computers here in the Weather Center. So there's still that chance that it's rotating, and in northeastern parts of Clay County, you go over toward Jackson County too. So that's still there. That's still a factor, or it was a few minutes ago. So we'll wait and see what happens with this warning. We'll see if it continues to ride out. Getting some, now starting to see some photos here from some folks out there toward Pulaski County, it looks like. I'm going to open up the photo. I can't get it up on the air immediately, but I'll try to look at it and see what I'm seeing, but see what they've seen out there. Right now, tornado warning until 6:30 p.m. for Clay County, a big chunk of Clay County and a couple of other counties there you're looking at. There's the information, the specific information that you see there on your screen. So tornado warning's out for quite a while. We've got about 12 minutes left to go. We've been dealing with these for, again, since I want to think 4:50, somewhere around that time, with these significant warnings that we've had issued. All of us under severe thunderstorm watch, almost all of us, I say that and kind of pull back the information, still a lot of us under the watch until 9 p.m. tonight. So now one of the severe areas of this line of thunderstorms now trying to approach Harlan County, crossing the border from Bell County. So very shortly, for you folks over there, you're going to get hit with some pretty intense winds, the heavy rain, the whole package is coming in your way. Now, the same thing for you folks there in Leslie County with that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect. Let me pop that information up too. You got that severe thunderstorm warning run for Bell, Clay, Harlan, Leslie, Letcher, Owsley, and again, a small section of Perry County until around 6:45. And what still impresses me with this area down here in Leslie County is it's still showing what I was talking about a little earlier, showing that little bow, that little push where we could see, let me get my arrow to draw it again, it's kind of pushing out. So that shows me that there's probably some decent winds embedded with that, kind of as it bows out a little bit. And let me give you a better indication here. You can kind of see how it's just kind of the roll in it just like this. There's a little bow. So some strong winds coming out of that on the front side specifically. The winds are kind of driving it from behind and they're coming out from the front. So that's one of those traditional characteristics that we see here when we talk about just some straight line winds. So some pretty tough stuff getting ready to cross along 421 there in Leslie County. So if you know somebody that's going to be traveling that way very soon, south of Hyden, hold on and let them know what's happening. Get a hold of them there on their cell phone. I always try to encourage you to call somebody on a cell phone at any rate, because if they're traveling, and plus with some of the lightning that could be associated with this, also takes your risk down from being hit by lightning directly associated with any type of a line. So that's what you can keep in mind here this evening. This storm weakening quite a bit there in Clay County. The most intense storm that I see is in Leslie County. But again, you got to factor in the rotation that could still be embedded within the thunderstorms over there in Jackson and Clay and eventually Owsley County. So there could still be that rotation. Just going to watch some of these other storms too as they move through Harlan, Bell, and Leslie County. All these locations under the gun for the next 25 minutes. So with severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, all of that coming out here. Let me peel the radar data back. There you see the actual tornado warning and how it's highlighted and where it's going, what's going on with it. And let me throw the data up again. And again, still looking a little on the weaker side thankfully. There's the official run time for this warning. We got Laurel, Owsley, Rockcastle, Clay, Jackson, all of these locations until 6:30. All right, it's out of Laurel County. You're in the clear. The little teeny tiny chunk of Rockcastle County, you're in the clear now for that too. It's the rest of this area that we'll really have to focus on over the next several minutes, because that's where the most significant part of the sale is at. And some more activity, of course, off toward the south. So if I had to sum it up right now for you, with all of the reports that have been rolling in here, they're going to have to do several different storm surveys, I imagine, coming up here with once they start getting some more reports of damage, to see where and if any tornado did in fact touch down somewhere here in southern Kentucky. And we've had several reports of funnel clouds, reports of possible touchdown there in Levi, Jackson State Park, and Laurel County. That's just one of the many that have trickled in here in the last little bit. So I'll tell you, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And in this situation, yeah, that's what we're talking about too, with the possibility of maybe some tornadoes out there. When you get all these reports coming together, and then you start seeing some damage, then yeah, maybe we have had some out there. That's just going by what I've seen so far with reports and a lot of information. Sometimes that can kind of just back you up. So we'll just have to wait for the official confirmation tomorrow. Still with the warning out for 7 minutes. It may go down early, or they may go ahead and say they're going to let it expire at 6:30 for parts of Clay County. So that's right through here in parts of Jackson County too. And right now, just seeing the fact that there may be some decent rotation left over in this, and it may be falling apart as I sit here and tell you all of this information as I pass it along to you, and that's what we hope for. But we'll ride this out, because we want to make sure we get the latest and greatest information out there to you. We want to try to have the best for you as these storms continue to move through eastern Kentucky. Okay, that looks like it's getting a little more on the calm side there, so some of the rotation factor may be dying out. The wind shear slowly going away. Park manager at Levi Jackson State Park says they don't believe it was a tornado. Some tree limbs down, lost power, no major damage right now. So that's some good news. The information that was relayed along earlier from law enforcement suggesting there may have been, again, a possible tornado touchdown over there, but the park manager says that didn't think that it was a tornado. Some tree limbs down, lost power, and again, no major damage. New report coming in here, handed to me by Steve Hensley there just a second ago. So that's some positive news, but numerous reports of funnel clouds have been coming in left and right all afternoon and evening long here with these thunderstorms, especially for this area right here that's now in Leslie County. Right now just producing some strong winds, but earlier a lot of reports coming in suggesting that we may be dealing with some funnel clouds here and there. So a lot of folks sending that stuff in. All right, let's check out. Got some more storm pics here. I'm going to try to get these up and check them out. I've seen a couple from out west, and just some very dark skies, ominous looking clouds. That's the only pics I've seen so far. I haven't seen anything yet with any type of rotation or any large hail or anything. Again, I say yet. I haven't seen those pictures yet. I haven't looked at all of them. Just severe thunderstorm warnings out now for the folks there in Leslie County, Harlan County, parts of Perry County. And again, I'm waiting on the warning and the information to kind of come in for the tornado warning over in, looking at the folks here in Clay County. No traffic lights in Corbin, and the electricity is out at most places. Just got a text message from a strange number, a friend of mine, but saying that the traffic lights in Corbin are out, and electricity out in most places down through there. So again, another spot that was hit very, very hard a little while ago in Corbin. Now hearing that the power's out, so the electricity's out in some locations, street lights or stop lights, traffic lights are out. So if you're going to be traveling down through there, please take every precaution you can. If you're going to be traveling the streets, it kind of gets a little crazy And when you start dealing with power outages and folks start to get out and kind of travel and try to get things going, especially if there's any damage to try to clean up. Warning for Clay County, Owsley, and Jackson County will expire at 6:30 here this evening. So that's the tornado warning. We will still have severe thunderstorm warnings out for Harlan and Leslie counties, specifically those areas, and a little small chunk right there of Perry County included in on the severe thunderstorm warnings. Okay, so those warnings will still be out. And what I suspected there a little while ago with the tornado warning for northern parts of Clay County looks like it's come to pass. The rotation going away, those significant severe weather traits also starting to die out. But it's still a rough day for you folks there in Hyden and other parts of Harlan County as the storms continue to move in your direction. Strong winds with possibly in excess of about 60, 70 miles per hour. A lot of rain, lightning, hail, all great possibilities here for the next little bit. So what we're going to do now, my friends, is we are going to cut away for just a few minutes, and we'll be back with Mountain News at 6 a little bit later, but we'll have Mountain News coming up for you here in just a little bit, and I'll have more updates, and hopefully we'll have some more information from some of our news reporters and our wonderful crew here getting the information from out in the streets to see what's happening. So we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes. Continues to work off toward the east. Now let's check out our live pinpoint Doppler radar, and we'll show you what we've got going on with the warnings first. Then we've got some more interesting video and some things to show you here in just a second. Right now, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the folks in Clay County, or not Clay County, over in Leslie County and Harlan County. I said Clay County so much a minute ago with the tornado warning, it kind of stuck, I guess. But what we have here is severe thunderstorm warnings in effect there for the folks in Bell, Clay, Harlan. Let me pull some of the data down here. It's give me a little repeat here. So as I pull that down, and we'll show it to you again. You got Harlan and Leslie counties until 6:45. And then you just saw the extension, as I was saying that, of some warnings also in effect for some counties here across eastern Kentucky, all until around 6:45 here this evening. All the information here. Let me get a big area of counties there you see up until 6:45. Again, with those severe thunderstorm warnings for Harlan, Leslie, Letcher, and Perry counties up until 6:45 p.m. with severe thunderstorms out there. Now, all right, let's check some of that video out that we've got from Bell County here that we had a little while ago. Possible funnel clouds reported in Bell County near Middlesboro earlier today. Those are some pretty dark, ominous clouds, and I can't see anything directly through there, but you can kind of see looks like the wall cloud trying to just drip through there. That's a strong little line of wind, if nothing else. And you can see the wind rocking the trees there, as Jeff Allen sent us this in just a little while ago. And this is the case in a lot of places. Then I got a report, a text message a little while ago from Corbin saying power's out through there, all because of some of the storms that you're seeing right here. So area-wide in southern Kentucky, from down into Wayne County all the way over so far that I've seen to Knox County, some reports of trees down, some power outages everywhere in between because of these very intense thunderstorms, and they're going to continue to move off toward the east here as you're looking there, as we mentioned on the live pinpoint Doppler radar, through Leslie County and eventually over here in Perry County, Harlan, and Letcher. Right now under the gun with warning, guys.
Jim, that video was outside the Cumberland Valley newsroom there in Middlesboro. Now, let's just reiterate, no tornado warnings in effect right now, but several severe thunderstorm warnings. Does that mean that these storms may be weakening a little bit?
Just judging by the way the radar looks now compared to where it was 30 minutes ago, these storms have gone down quite a bit, so they're losing some of the most strong characteristics that they've had, so they are weakening some, but it's nothing to sneeze at because they've still got some potentially strong winds associated with them and some decent sized tail. But again, that's going down by the minute, which is what we want to see, Steve.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We've got a couple of reporters that rode through these storms. We're trying to get them on the phone right now, and we hope to talk to them in just a moment. In fact, I'm just being told that we have Andy Cunningham with our sister station WKYT on the phone. I believe he was in the Corbin area when these storms rocked that area. Andy, what did you see and hear?
Well, I have to say, when we were in Corbin, we pretty much didn't see too much there. There were obviously some heavy rains, some winds, and a very large display of lightning, I guess you could say. As we didn't find much damage there, we moved to Laurel County, where we had heard there were a report of a possible tornado down in the Levi Jackson State Park area, but the park manager has told us now they don't believe that is the case. They had minimal damage there. Now we are on our way to Whitley County, back to where we came from, where we're told there is plenty of damage. Power is out to most of the city of Williamsburg. We've heard their phone system is down, so obviously a very dangerous situation as people are trying to call in to get emergency help. They can't get through. We've also heard that neighborhoods across the city have large trees down, and again, we are on our way there now, and hopefully we will be able to tell you a little bit more later tonight, but that is the latest. Live in Laurel County, Andy Cunningham, WYMT Mountain News.
Andy, thank you very much, and we'll probably have a report from you later tonight at 11 o'clock. And judging from what Andy says, it appears Whitley County may have been hardest hit there in that region. Of course, these storms started out over in our far western coverage area in Pulaski, McCreary, Wayne counties. Haven't heard too much out of there, but pretty much everywhere, some trees at least down, power lines down. I haven't heard any reports of structural damage yet. That's certainly some good news. No reports of injuries, and hopefully that will continue to be the case as we move on. And of course, we'll keep you updated and go back to Jim as needed throughout this newscast.
And now, Sky Alert weather featuring Pinpoint Doppler, eastern and southern Kentucky's most dependable forecast. Sponsored by Community Trust Bank, building communities built on trust.
Severe weather is on the way out. The problem is we've still got a few more counties before it gets completely out of eastern Kentucky to go through, before it actually completely dies out to some degree. Now, it's expected to go off toward the south and east, producing more severe weather as numerous watches have been issued for several counties out of Kentucky into Virginia and East Tennessee. So this storm is expected to kind of take a dive toward the south and east here very soon. We still have some warnings active. Live Pinpoint Doppler radar shows you where the storms are at, and it also will give us the latest on exactly what is going on with the warning information. So we'll zoom in on the most intense part of this line, which is now moving through Harlan County and parts of Letcher County. A little weaker here through Leslie County. Wait just a second here. New report coming in. One injury due to a downed tree over in Leslie County. That's just coming in from the Weather Service, law enforcement, passing that information along to them. So an injury due to a downed tree over in the Cutchin area of Leslie County, and that coming in here just in the at 6:32 is when it was possibly happened. So looking about 20 minutes ago. So there you go, possible injury due to a downed tree over in Leslie County. All right, now let's get to the warning information here. You've got several severe thunderstorm warnings out, and like this one for Harlan, Knott, Leslie, Letcher, and Perry County, that runs out until 7:15 here for those folks. So 7:15 for the severe thunderstorm warning that is out through there. And again, it will start to pull more toward you folks here in Virginia, our friends over there in Wise and in Lee County, Virginia. You'll be dealing with this storm for a little while longer, and then eventually pulls off toward the south and east. Now, the severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for all these counties here highlighted. You're looking at in yellow, so several of them under the watch through 9 o'clock. Now, everything's dying out to our west, so I highly suspect that once these storms get out of here, the watch will probably go away with it. The atmosphere's been worked over quite a bit here. We go back through time here, showers and storms just sweeping through southern Kentucky, and you can see where they're at now here over the last little bit, continuing to produce possible strong winds, large hail possibility. And look at what the rain has done to temperatures, knocking them down into the 60s. You go just up to Lexington, they're near 80 degrees. Same thing at Jackson, near 80 degrees, but this much cooler rain-cooled air that's down across southern Kentucky as those storms kind of roll through, and you can see the progression of this. This actually goes all the way back to Mountain News this morning. I highlighted those storms this morning over in Kansas as they were getting going there with some severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. And again, living up to the same hype they had early, They swept through parts of western Kentucky and right into eastern Kentucky, doing the same thing. And then you can see now where they're going with that new severe thunderstorm watch box going out for East Tennessee and then down into the Carolinas and through that area as the storms are going to pull off toward the south and east. And that's where exactly the slight risk is at too. You see there. And again, as that turn starts to happen, it could very well go off toward South Carolina, North Carolina, and that general area again too. Then guess what? We get to do it all again tomorrow, at least as far as the outlook is concerned. Slight risk for severe weather coming up for Wednesday. Again, 3-day forecast. Chances for showers and storms tomorrow, Thursday, and just plain old hot on Friday. And then we go into our weekend, which will feature, of course, Father's Day and the beginning of summer at least. It's all right there for you. Let's check our mountain calendar out. What we've got for you on our calendar: rabies clinic over the Hayden City parking lot coming up on June 20th from 10 until 1. So right now, just getting that possible injury out of Leslie County. Some trees reported down here and there. That's the worst thing I've seen so far.
Yeah, hopefully nothing serious. But gosh, this year has just been full of severe weather. The worst I believe I can remember.
It's been a terrible year. You factor in the flooding, the severe weather, everything going hand in hand. This isn't the first time we've had to deal with tornadic activity. We've had several confirmed this year.
Right, and it's just June, and you can hear the rain starting to pour on top of us.
Yeah.
Jim, thank you. Jeff Archer's in next with sports.
And here we are back covering more severe weather here from the Sky Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jim Caldwell, and a different area now being affected by potential severe thunderstorms with some rotation in them, it looks like, for the folks over in Powell County and some other counties here, including parts of Breathitt County. Tornado warning now in effect for this area, and including Wolfe County, Lee County. You see the areas here in general under the gun. Let me give you some of the specific information here. Tornado warning in effect for Breathitt, Estill, Lee, Menifee, Powell, Wolfe counties, all up until 7:45. So you're looking at about 30 minutes here left on this warning. And this is not the same area that was being affected earlier. So almost a bit of a surprise here coming out of the northern side of this whole complex. The other side getting out of eastern Kentucky now. And now we have this one pop up here just to the north. Some rotation showing up within the thunderstorm. And so this did produce another tornado warning for several counties here. And this one moving off toward the east at around 30 miles per hour. So you folks there in, looks like Lee County and Wolfe County specifically, because we're going to cover you all up pretty good. You all are under the gun here for a little while longer, it looks like. Again, just some rotation and a trained weather spotter also. As I look at some new information here, trained weather spotter reporting a tornado near Fitchburg, and that's about 6 miles northeast of Irvin. So 6 miles northeast of Irvin, that's going to be right over in this area. That's what sparked the warning. So with the trained spotter seeing that, the issue of a warning now has taken place here, and is expected to move off toward the east at around 30 miles per hour, covering up Lee County, parts of Wolfe County. All of these locations will be under the gun here until 7:45 here this evening. So if you're in any of these areas, again, I want to stress that the potential of a tornado could be right there, could be trying to settle down on you. And with someone seeing it on the ground, that certainly kind of ups the ante just a little bit. So whether it was completely on the ground, I don't see the report of whether it was completely on the ground. Maybe they just spotted a funnel. I'm not sure. I don't see any other information on that. But that's what we've got going on here in, again, Estill County, just outside of our true coverage area. But Lee County and Wolfe County right here within where we're at. Now, on radar, this does not look super impressive. We've got some strong characteristics with it. But as far as true intensity and of that nature, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that right now here, but I'll look at some other sources here for true rotation. Not even seeing true rotation here with some of the software I've got here. It's a bit of a weak rotation that has shown up here within this thunderstorm that is moving through Estill County right now, eventually over into Lee County, and then on over into Wolfe County, and then of course there's still highlighted parts of Powell County for the warning. And I know I mentioned Breathitt a minute ago, but look, there's just a very small area of Breathitt County, and we'll go a little bit closer just to see how populated. Got a couple of roads there that are included in that warning, Hurst and near Wide Creek. So that's how small that is for you in Breathitt County. So this is not a county-wide kind of deal. This is just a very small localized area there in Breathitt County. Now the other area is a lot larger, being affected throughout parts of eastern Kentucky. And right there, that little green speckle you're seeing there, that's what we're concerned with. And disregard the word shear. Just pay no attention to that, but pay attention to the word weak. It's showing some weak rotation. That's what it's trying to get at, some possible weak rotation embedded within this thunderstorm. And again, if you look at it on just the normal radar view, not overly impressive here, but what has happened is there has been a trained weather spotter reporting a tornado near Fitchburg in Estill County. So we're watching this one as it's going to move through northern parts of Lee County and then on over into Wolfe County, where the warning will continue. Showers and thunderstorms have been very active out there all afternoon, all evening long, with potential severe weather in many different locations. Some funnel clouds reported in different areas across southern Kentucky, so this is kind of a different location to be affected. The rest of you all down there that were affected a while ago, things are starting to lighten up. Wise County, Virginia, to my friends over there, you all are under a tornado warning too. So we'll at least point this out for you until 8 o'clock. Tornado warning for Lee County, Norton, Scott, and Wise counties over there in Virginia. So that's still out as well. And that's coming from that initial line that kind of moved through here and sparked all the severe weather that we had in southeastern Kentucky here a little while ago. And looks like another little statement coming out just talking about some general strong storms for you folks in Johnson, McGoffin, Floyd, and Martin counties. That's coming your way very, very shortly. But the one we're going to watch here for a little while longer, coming out of Estill County, going into northern Lee County, an area that was affected not so long ago by some flooding, along with Breathitt and several other areas, now seeing another tornado warning. As a matter of fact, I remember the specific night, nearly the same area highlighted with a tornado warning, the night of the flooding of Mother's Day weekend. You go on to Friday night, and then it kind of led on into Saturday when we all got to see some of the devastation from that. But it was on that Friday night, and they were under tornado warning too that same day. So just coming back to me here, so tornado warning in effect for you all again in Lee County there in Kentucky, not only in Virginia because you're under one as well, but here in eastern Kentucky too. And we're waiting on it to come out of parts of Estill County here, which again just beyond our coverage area. And then you got Powell County and Wolfe County all under the gun for this potential tornado here. And there you see it highlighted more specifically. So let's go in on our counties and give you some information as the storm continues to move toward us. Here you see Greeley, Zachariah included in this tornado warning, just north of Pinnacle and north of the county seat, by the way. There's Beattyville, so just north of Beattyville for the tornado warning. But then you go over toward Wolfe County. We've got Campton, Rogers, Granny, Vortex, Mary, all of those locations with the tornado warning here, with the latest tornado warning, I should say. And then you see Slade, a very common area that if you travel the Mountain Parkway very much, that part of the Mountain Parkway, that's where the one of the rest stops at, one of the near the Natural Bridge area and through there. So very well known to a lot of folks that travel the Mountain Parkway. Though that's under the gun for possibility of a tornado. Tornado moving right through there, or at least a storm that could be producing one through Estill County, Lee County, and also over into Wolfe County. It's been a very, very active afternoon and evening here, full of severe weather. Some strong storms have just been pounding different parts of southern Kentucky and now into eastern Kentucky, and that's what we've got going on. And again, that's why we're here. That's why we're on the air providing this information to you, as we will watch these storms as they head off toward the east here within the next 30 minutes or so, as long as the warning stays out. We're at 7:24. Warning goes out to quarter till. So if you know anybody in Lee County, you know anybody in Wolfe County there, anybody just traveling the Mountain Parkway or getting ready to, I encourage you to give them a quick call and let them know, hey, you've got some issues over there, my friends. Possible tornado in the air. A thunderstorm that was spotted by a trained spotter. A severe thunderstorm with a possible tornado embedded in the storm is moving through that area right now, and so we've got something to really think about and really consider. This is one of a couple of trained spotters that have reported tornadoes today here in southern and eastern Kentucky, and that's what we've got here again. And I always say we need that visualization on the ground, and we got it here. Certainly got it right here with somebody calling it in from over in Estill County. And I'm not sure if that's where they're from, but that's where they were at when they called it in, because that's where it was spotted at. So now we just watch as it continues to move off toward the east here within the next hour. So within the hour, and I'm talking probably about 30 minutes, that's going to be the general time frame for it to kind of blast off toward the east here. A report, by the way, just trickling in from out in McCreary County as well. Some 3 structures damaged out there from storms that we had earlier on today. And this has nothing to do with this storm, but some of the storms from earlier. That's what we had going on out there in those areas. So right now, the headline going to be severe thunderstorm possibly producing a tornado over in Estill, Lee, and Powell, and you've also got Wolfe County. All right, let's see. And then, of course, we've got the Wise County tornado warning and Lee County warning until 8 p.m. here tonight down there along the Virginia border. So don't forget about those folks. We highlighted them here a moment ago, but don't forget about that too. So don't get the Lee counties confused. We do have 2 tornado warnings out, one for the folks in Lee County, Virginia, and then one in Lee County, Kentucky, which is the one you're seeing right there and on your screen just north of, well, it's actually Beattyville, but where the action is going to be at. If there's any action at all, it's going to be there in the northern parts of Lee County here very, very shortly, or maybe into the kind of the little quad right there, the little area where it all comes together right through here. So somewhere in that general vicinity at this moment as the storm moves eastward, moving eastward. Let me pull some tips up here for you. Let me pull them up on my other computer, guys, before you I know you're not seeing them yet, but you should be now. So if you could shoot those up there so we can read these off to the people there in a couple of counties. Again, when dealing with tornadoes, the best place to be, if you have one, is a basement or the lowest point of your home, the lowest point of your home being the bottom floor. If you've got a 2-story house, you want to be on the first floor, and you want to put as many walls between you and the outside world as you possibly can. And just, again, I've said this several times today, I'm calling it fortifying yourself. And by fortifying yourself, you're just putting another wall in between you and the storm. So the more you put between you and that, the better off you're going to be. You want to avoid windows at any cost, too, by the way. Stay away from those, as they're easily destroyed, easily penetrated by rocks, baseballs, whatever it may be that the kids get into. You know how easily it is to break a window, so keep that in mind. And mobile homes, not exactly a desirable place to be in when you're talking about a tornado, due to the fact that they can, and reports have indicated through the years, can be picked up and tossed around a little more easily. So again, that's reports that have been handed down for years and years and years suggest that. So that's why it's on the list. That's why we talk about it, because they can be picked up a little more easily than a home, a solid structure, a different type of home. They're great homes. Not going to discredit that. They're wonderful homes. Grew up in one myself. But again, just not safe in a situation like this. All right, let's go back over to the live pinpoint Doppler radar, guys, and we'll watch the storm as it moves eastward here. Again, tornado warning issued for this. Spotter saw it near Irvin in Estill County. And again, this is not associated with that initial line of storms that went through. This is part of a different batch that is now going through. It's the northern part of this that we have for Clay County, Powell County, and Lee County. Let me track it out a little bit for you here. I'll just track it from what looks to be the most severe section here, and we'll move it out toward the east here around for the next 30 minutes. Let's see where it's going for 30 minutes. All righty, there you see some of the locations highlighted here from Lico to Baptist to Hazel Green, all of these under the gun for the next little bit. Also some damage reports coming in now from parts of Perry County. You got Viper, you got Hazard, some trees down. Tree down along Highway 7 up toward Viper, or actually technically speaking down toward Viper, because that's south of where I'm at. So down toward Viper, and then power lines down, tree down here in Hazard, and so power lines down here again. So that's coming from storms again earlier on this afternoon here, and this evening that are out there. Excuse me, sorry. I'll take a shot of that water, please. Thank you. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to get so quiet on you there, but I had to get some water. So there's where our severe thunderstorm is at, possibly producing tornado through several counties here, with that tornado warning that was issued just a little while ago by the folks over at the National Weather Service in Jackson for Powell County, Estill County, Lee County, and also into Wolfe County. All of these counties under the gun for the next, looking at around 15 minutes of warning time. Now, whether or not it lasts that long, we'll just have to wait and see on that. But there is a warning out for it. There is a warning out for it. And again, I'll just give you the specific information so you can kind of see it. And it does include Breathitt, but it's that little tip right there. That little tip right there. So not the county-wide kind of deal. 7:45 expiration time for Breathitt, Estill, Lee, Menifee, Powell, and Wolfe counties here for the storm that somebody, a trained weather spotter, saw a possible tornado there in Estill County. So we'll continue to follow this until 7:45. We'll stay right here with you. As long as we think that there's a threat or there's some significant danger through that area, we will stay with you. It's kind of weak, though, just looking at it now here lately. And I've also got some other data that I can throw up here and show you too that suggest whether or not there's going to be any rotation within it. And again, let's look at it right through there. Starting to show a little more in the way of shear. And again, that's some more rotation. And these go through cycles. They go back and forth, up and down with storms, especially of this nature. So right now, still seeing at least a little bit of rotation right through there. That's going to be over in Powell County now and moving due east here for the next 15 minutes or so. And that's when Wolfe County comes into play. Wolfe County, not Clay County. Wolfe County comes into play then as it sweeps through there. The rotation factor that I just mentioned showing up over in Powell County now, the latest one. And we've got, of course, the storm tracks we can plot automatically that will also try to detect where the rotation's at. And I'll tell you, after seeing what that showed me there with the rotation, that makes me kind of wonder. It's weak here at this point of view, but you're also dealing with the strong rotation. So some things that usually don't go hand in hand are going hand in hand right now. So again, a factor I'm not used to seeing showing up there in a couple of counties in Estill, Powell, Lee, and specifically there in Wolfe County. So that rotation is being indicated on Doppler radar, and that's what we just popped up there for you on the air, kind of give you a general idea of what is happening with that thunderstorm. So it's there, and it's trying to move off toward the east here. And the warning remains in effect for northwestern Breathitt, Lee, northern Lee. I don't really see the fact that it's still in effect for folks over a big chunk of Estill County. Should be clearing there very soon. And then Powell County and southwestern Menifee counties, which is just, again, out of our area. Trained weather spotter around 7:30. Trained weather spotter reported a possible tornado. This possible tornado is located about southeast of Stanton, so somewhere toward the southeast of Stanton, moving it east at around 15 miles per hour, which is where the radar just indicated there's some rotation at. When I was showing you that word, when it said moderate, that moderate shear, that's where the rotation was going to be at, which is about where, according to this report from the trained spotter, which is about where our information, our data had lined it up right there in Powell County. So if you're in Wolfe County, now's the time to kind of be prepared, because there is a storm out there that could be producing a tornado, and it's coming your way if you're in Wolfe County, coming your way here within the next few minutes. So That tornado warning, another tornado warning could be valid again here. It looks like with some of the information just keeps kind of trickling in. Again, I'm not seeing an explosive, intense storm, but what we're seeing is the rotation coming into play. When you start talking about that rotation, that's when we run into the whole issues with tornadic activity. That's what we had earlier today. We had train spotters seeing some funnel clouds left and right in many different locations throughout southern Kentucky with that first batch of storms that went through. Now this, again, nothing to do with that round that went through earlier. So when we thought it was going out, that's out. That's out of play. It's now into play for parts of Virginia with tornado warnings. But this just kind of popped up here in the last little bit with some folks spotting something that appeared to be a tornado or maybe a funnel cloud over in that general area of Estill County, and now moving through Powell County and going on into Wolfe County here, and we'll head on through that way very shortly. So let's key on some communities again that are going to be affected, including the Mountain Parkway. So remember that. If you know somebody that's heading that way, that's what you need to tell them. Hey, watch out. We've got some issues going on over there in parts of Powell County. See some of the other locations that could be directly affected. Slade. Then you've got Nada. I'm not sure the pronunciation on that. So we'll just go to the next one. Pilot. If you know it, you know where you're at right there. So you see it there showing up on the map. Pine Ridge to Rogers to High Falls to Granny. All of you locations there in Wolfe County. Please pay very close attention to what I have to say. There could be a tornado coming your way very shortly here. And with that in mind, some damage could be possible, and it also puts your life in danger. Life in danger. Seeing reports of some trees down from earlier storms too here in Perry County near the Buellin area that was also affected by the strong storms that went through yesterday, the strong rainmakers that produced some heavy rain. So all this just kind of coming in, and as it comes in, I'll just relay that information on out to you folks there at home that are just sitting there and waiting for the weather to pass, as I am too. Trust me, I'd love to see some of this calm down, because we certainly don't need any damage or any threat to lives here in eastern Kentucky here this evening. But that's been the threat all afternoon long and all evening long. We go down here to these other warnings. Wise County, Virginia, still under the gun. Seeing some reports, trees down from over there from this tornado warning, the storm that is housing that. Near the city of Norton now, and city of Wise also being affected there around 7:40 here. So it continues to roll right on through Wise County, Virginia. So all of our friends over there watching us here, we're here with you, and we're watching this storm move through there too. So tornado warning, I'll get the specific information up for you too. Tornado warning in effect there until 8 o'clock, so you can see it popping up on your screen. Though, and Wise could be out of there a little more on the quick side, so quick, fast, and in a hurry with that storm getting out of town, which is what I want for you all, just like I want it for everybody here across southeastern Kentucky. We want the calm weather situation, but just not happening just yet for us. Now that storm moving across the border into Wolfe County. Now the question will be, will it keep those severe weather characteristics to where they keep a tornado watch on it? And this suggesting, this data, again, I don't like to show it often, but I'm using it just for personal reference, still showing some decent little shear there. So there's some rotation. There's still some rotation showing up within the storm. So looking at near 50 miles per hour, what that's telling me is it's in and out, the spin, okay? That has nothing to do with what the wind's going to do, but that's telling me what how the wind's rotating and how fast it's rotating. So it's there, and that's just the kind of the average speed of it. And right now the bulk of it showing up in Powell County. So you've still got time if you're near the city of Campton or you're somewhere there in far western sections of Wolfe County. You've still got some time to be prepared and to get into a safe location here if you're anywhere through that. So please, I encourage you to do that as soon as possible, because we don't have much time with it as it moves on off toward the east. And report coming in for folks here in Perry County, tree blocking the road on Kentucky 96 in Buellin. It's right as you turn up Hardburley Road. You got a tree over the road there, so another report coming in, and some trees down, power lines down near Whitesburg and Letcher County. So it just kind of keeps on going here, and this is the time period where we start to see what happened, and we start assessing the damage, and then you get more storms like this that kind of pop up out of the blue and start producing possible tornadoes through a few more counties. So there you go. The weather continues to right on into Wolfe County. That's where we're following the storm at right now. So you folks there in Wolfe County need to be in position to be prepared for possible tornadoes. Still seeing some rotation out of it, and the warning's set to go off at 7:45. Now, if it starts to weaken here within the next little bit, it'll probably go down. The warning status will go down. So we'll watch this up until expiration time, and hopefully some of those rotating characteristics will start to disappear. And once they start to disappear, maybe we'll get a bit of a break from more of this severe weather, because that's certainly what we want to see here. We want to walk away with this without any loss of life and without any damage. Now, we did see a report earlier from Leslie County where a tree fell, and there could be an injury directly tied to that. So you can see how dangerous this can be, and I don't know what capacity that was in, whether the tree fell on a home or fell on somebody outside. I don't know. I just got the report that said that somebody had been injured due to a tree falling over there in Leslie County. And right now, Wolfe County is the county under the gun with possible, excuse me, I had to get a little water there, with possible severe weather now moving into the far western section of the county. So the county seat there is Campton. And if you're in Campton, get prepared, because we've got a storm on the way, and from all indication, possibly producing a tornado earlier. Spotters saying that. Spotters saying that not only in Estill County, but they said it over in Powell County as well. So these trained spotters, they have gone through specific training to know what to look for. And you just got to kind of go with what they see. Got to trust them and roll along with it, because that's what we have to have. We have to have that pair of eyes on the ground to really push this along. And usually when the spotter calls it in, that is a guarantee for a warning, and that's what we've got here. And we had a cell, and it had some stronger characteristics. So now we've got the warning still out for you folks there. We're approaching, it's now 7:42. Now 7:42, and again this warning goes to 7:45, so just anxious to see what they're going to say over there. I've already seen what I think. There is some rotation that's still embedded within the storm, so it could stay up a little while longer. So if you're wanting a break from severe weather there in Wolfe County, it may not happen just yet, because that last check when I was looking at some of the velocity data, and again that's what I was popping up there on the air a minute ago. When I was looking at that, still showing that there's some rotation embedded within this thunderstorm, and decent at one time. So it was decent. Severe thunderstorm watch posted for a lot of counties too was canceled early for several of us. Only a few counties remaining in that watch. It looks like, let's see, Perry County. Who else? Who else was in on that watch? Perry, a few more, not Letcher, Harlan, some through there. So that was all for the watch. And as I suspected and expected, even though we had some rotation in it early and a few minutes ago, some of it calming down, at 7:45 here this evening, the strong cell with that rotation in it earlier for Wolfe County will go down as a tornado warning. It will no longer be a tornado warning, so it goes away. But you still have the one in effect for the folks there in Wise County, Virginia. And what I'll do is I'll bounce away from this. So you folks there in Lee County, Kentucky, and Wolfe County here in Kentucky, you all are in good shape now as far as the tornadic threat. Looks like it's kind of gone down a little bit. Now we'll go back over toward Wise, and most of the storm almost out of the county now. You can see it right there. So you were under tornado warning there for a while, and it's technically going out until 8 o'clock, but the bulk of it may clear out of there very soon. So that puts you all out of harm's way, at least the most significant that we can think of as far as the big-time severe weather players. Tornadic threat starts to go down here very, very shortly. So if you're over there in Wise County, Virginia, your threat going down some. And if we look out to our west, some of the rain starting to also taper off. and hopefully things will get more on the calm side here very, very shortly. The storms there moving through Virginia, though, I do want to add this before we cut away. Been going strong since Mountain News this morning was on the air this morning, and trust me, I was tracking them then, watching them with tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, and now pressing on through Virginia and to Tennessee here tonight. But the big highlight, it's 7:44 right now, almost completely out of the tornado warning in Wolfe County. Tornado warning going down and away for you folks there in Wolfe County officially now. So that's a big plus, thankfully. So what we'll do now is we'll rejoin our regular scheduled programming here. That is, I'm not sure, is it King of Queens right now? Is that what we've got on, guys? King of Queens. So we're going into King of Queens here, so we'll wrap up our severe weather coverage. But if anything happens, we'll be right back on the air with you.